Welcome back to UK Nationals. I think we are back running again. Thank you, Ed. Your prayers for the stream to come back have been have come through. Yeah, we small bit of technical issues. Just part of the brand here at WooTube. We love to have we love to throw in some technical issues to keep us on our feet. We're going to be going into the lower bracket final really shortly. I'm going to be bringing in a couple of new commentators. One that you will be familiar with from yesterday. We have Anarko Mutram, and we're also going to have a Work Turtok taking you through the lower bracket finals. The contestants have been given an hour for this final. So although this will be timed, this is going to be a longer time than usual. So a whole 60 minutes to make sure that we get a really decisive winner. Chris Dyer, obviously, has been having pretty much the run of his life, and Jonald coming all the way from the very bottom of the lower bracket finals, losing his first game and submarining it all the way back up to the top. So this is going to be quite an impressive match. I'm going to quickly get our other commentators involved, and we'll duck out for a second. Be right back with you in literally a minute and a half. And live mic.
It's live.
Yeah, you can say hello.
Hello. We can say hello.
Yeah, you can introduce yourself.
We'll broadcast to the world. My name is Anarcho Mushroom. They, she, known person, I guess.
Very much known person.
Known prison enjoyer, I guess. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So, while Tutok, he, him. I've played yesterday, and I will be casting with you.
Yeah.
Casted with Bar.
We are casting the lower bracket finals between Jonald, a member of the Tiebreakers testing group. He is on Arisana, or no, he's on Ob, it looks like.
Yep.
Jonald is on Ob. He is a very prolific Ob player. He's been playing this ID for, I think, since its release.
I think there's only one more player like
yes,
like Donald.
Yes, he is a very prolific Ob player. Has had a lot of success. Made cut at EMEA this year. Made cut at last year's UK Nationals. I think both of them with Ob. And he is sitting across one of the toughest opponents he could possibly face. Chris Nemamiah Dyer, 2016 World Champion, 2018 World's Finalist, regular top 4 at Nationals every year. And I believe he is playing for his first UK Nationals win, which is kind of hard to believe. But yeah, very excited to watch this lower half game. We've seen, I think Jonald has been on stream with this Ob before. It's kind of an interesting kill combo, or not kill combo, but a Holy Trail end of the line upper research kind of kill deck, similar-ish to Gagarin decks from years gone past. And Chris is on regular lap.
Is it Regrat or is it Swifty Lad?
I believe he is on Anakan.
We have the deck list.
We have the deck list here, but I think I saw him earlier on Anakan as his console of choice. So not going for those 5-click deep dives, instead preferring the slightly more efficiency that Anakin gives you.
Which is probably going to pay off this match if he has to tank some damage, because it makes him more sturdy into exactly these
Yes.
asset matchups. What I'm curious about, if you can see the remote from John that has 4 installed cards.
It's a 3 or 4. I think it's
It might be
3.
So
Yes.
I still
We see a forced connection. So this is one of those
already getting
potentials.
spicy.
Yes, forced connection access from HQ, it looks like. Now, Chris thankfully does have a fair bit of money, so we're going to see now, does John want to pay into this trace? This is a dirty laundry run as well. So Chris, yeah, tough to see if this is going to be an economic hit to Lat. I think John is paying in by 3, so
4.
yeah,
Actually.
yeah. Trace. So this is trace 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Um,
2 tags.
2 tags, and yeah, we're seeing that force connection get trashed from HQ.
So do you know if this deck plays Urban Renewal, and if this is the kill line, or if he plays lots of...
I'm trying to find the but yes, it plays 3 Urban Renewal.
Yes.
So it's...
Here.
Thank you.
Perfect. So yeah, so this list, we're just having a look now. Yes, it's on Azef's, it's on Drudge Works, Mal. Yeah, this is it's playing one of MCA austerity policy, urban renewals. Yeah, this wants to do one thing, and that is kill the runner.
Squeeze the runner.
Squeeze the runner,
MCA,
yes.
Squeeze the runner, and then you pop them.
You get them good. We see a wall-to-wall, very nice wall-to-wall promo in the remote, so that is going to keep giving this ob deck a little bit of gas each turn. Behind what upgrades are we running? Because it looks like we have a couple.
So there's definitely an Overseer, probably Mavirus, maybe another forced connection. So I would not be surprised if it's if it's Overseer and forced connection, because Mavirus can pop more aggressively.
Yeah. So we're just seeing not a ton of fireworks so far in these early turns. Both players, I think Chris is going to want to maybe play a slightly slower game, build up his money, find an econ advantage, and just try and keep the board under control. This ob deck doesn't have a ton of scoring potential. It runs 9 ice.
It tries to score.
Yeah.
For Azef, maybe to find the kill line.
Exactly. Like you're probably looking at MCAs to try and create scoring windows if you have to pivot, but with only one MCA, that is going to be a tough ask for the corp.
I would assume that the MCA is part of a kill combo, so that you can maybe end of the line, install Azef, fast advanced Azef,
Yeah,
something like that.
I think you do have lines. You also have a public trail. So you can do say public trail into the pop MCA, and then you've got all the clicks you need. There's a one-off pivot as well to find your operations for the combo.
We are already playing a public end of the line, just value end of the line, it seems.
Yeah, this is just sniping some cards. So ooh.
Probably wants to grind out the deep dives. So
yes,
because I suspect that this kind of game can be won on 3 points from Chris Dyer's point of view.
Yes, and it is important to remember Chris Dyer is #1 overall seed. So now this is a 60-minute lower bracket final. So fingers crossed we won't be going to time on this one, but it is a consideration that if it does go to time, Chris obviously will want to. He does have that seed advantage. But yeah, John just going for the value end of the line. That is just wants to try and get out some of those early resources, that abundance of economy that Lat has. And yeah, we did see 2 creatives and a trick shot going, which is huge.
We are seeing 2 breakers in hand in Chris Dyer's hand, which is, I think, important part. It's like no econ. He needs to draw to find new cards.
Yes. And yeah, we have this Rashid in the remote. Sorry, excuse me. Yes, this Rashid in the remote now is going to fire, give this all a good bit of gas. There's 3 cards in hand, so we're going to go up to 7. Have plenty of money. This is I think this ob is off to a pretty okay start. Yeah.
I'm surprised at the lack of assets on the table, but this will probably change now. I think we saw mostly agendas operations and some ice, so maybe he's not drawing into the assets that he wants to install. So maybe he saw exactly that issue and wanted to find some time to build a board and set Chris back because he can just recur the end of the line when he
Exactly.
needs it.
Exactly. We see here that MCA, that one of MCA coming down, is going to start taxing Chris clicks. We see as well in hand, it looks like an Audacity and a slash and burn as well, I'm
Also
seeing.
pivot.
And we have a pivot as well. So Donald could be having this is a pretty good Rashidifier for this ob deck that's trying to set up these very difficult to deal with forks for the runner. And without a stone ship or an Anacam in play for Lat, the kill potential is quite high.
Yeah.
Normally a very survivable and a very hard to kill runner, but in this board state, Chris has to worry about those end of the lines.
I have some bad news for you.
Oh dear.
Chris is not on Stone Ship Charter. So the only
no stone ships.
Yeah, the only tech card for this matchup is a single no free
Oh
launch.
wow, okay. So
did not see this coming or decided that he can win out the matchup beforehand.
So that
Finds an urban renewal.
Urban renewal.
The Bridgman all out stays.
Yeah, I know Chris is on a.
No, this is John. Sorry,
we were looking at John's. Apologies. So let's look at Chris's.
Oh, he's on two stone ships.
Two stone ships, and he's also on a cupulation. So he does have some disruption, and he does have some protection as well. So, yeah. But this is and obviously this copy of Hannah Wheels as well. If you can find it, will be very, very useful for getting around this click tax and these force connections and whatnot.
Also, it helps in the combo turn to get a double deep dive off, which is very important. And that you can find the urban renewal.
Finds the urban renewal again, leaves it there. Yeah, pretty happy. I don't think you want to be trashing things out of HQ at this point in the game.
No, especially since he's on Oppo research. So
yeah, so one of Oppo research. Yes, isn't the kill combo is pretty light. It's one copy of Oppo research, one copy of Public Trail, and one pivot to find what you need. So definitely relying on some pretty good draws, but clearly John knows more than we do, perhaps, in the consistency of this combo.
I'm assuming that he can filter his deck naturally with the op trigger, so that the cards that he wants and needs end up in his hand, because the rest, that the assets and the op triggers will filter out the rest. This helps you a lot with finding the kill pieces, but also pivot, and like you have 3 cards that gives you consistent tags, and then also Overseer Matrix, Force Connection, which all set back the runner.
So we have Chris now starting his turn. Jonald, a very considerate player, leaving the dice to represent cards in hand for Lat.
Still very minimal board state. This would frighten me as in Chris' position.
You wouldn't know where to go to start poking at this board state. Yeah, I think Chris is just drawing up. We have that no free lunch though, really, really useful. Looking at Chris's list now, no free lunch, 2 stone ship chart room, obviously the 3 copies of Anacam. This is quite good. This is pretty good kill protection, but we do see in the object there is a one-off copy of Malia, which is as a person who has played a lot of these Wayland kill decks, acid-based kill decks, Malia is an all-star.
Yeah. Especially since you can. Is it 0? No, it's 1 cost.
1 to res.
So you cannot flicker the MCA into the Malia.
Unfortunately, but you can use one of the Maryland campaigns that are. I think there's a Maryland campaign. Yes, there's 2 Maryland campaigns. So fetch you pop the Maryland, get your Malia trigger, blank their stone ship, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Donald with the urban renewal, res. This is pretty key to trash. You don't want to leave yourself vulnerable to Azef, and Donald, being the player of his caliber that he is, definitely won't be letting Lat get those free draws as best as he can.
Resistant virus. Additionally, you don't want to be ground out like that. This is because you can probably tank 1 urban renewal during the game if you know that the kill is not available, but otherwise it is too risky for you. Consumer virus looks for a 2-coster.
Yeah,
It looks for the Maryland,
looks
like
for the
probably
Maryland.
like you said, to get to the Malia.
Yeah, Malia blanking this no free lunch will make his kill lines that little bit easier to follow up on. I don't believe. I think Donald, despite taking a lot of game action there, has just taken one click. I think, or no, he's
No, this was the start of turn.
this was his turn. I see. Very good.
No, start of turn.
But this was his start. This was
Yeah, he popped.
all.
There was an extract.
Oh, was there an
There was an
extract? I thought I
extract.
saw an extract.
I thought he
Okay.
popped them a virus. He popped them a virus to an extract.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. So, and yeah, Chris is still constrained on clicks. This MCA is just, it's not really presenting any major threat right now, but it is limiting Chris's options quite significantly on his turns.
I find when you play runner against MCA, you realize quite often that the runner game is actually designed around a 4-click turn,
4-click turn.
which is really subtle, but this like changes how you play a lot.
Yeah.
And you do not actually want to be in that position for a long time, because being equal on corp clicks sets you back quite a bit.
Quite a bit. The corp clicks are slightly more powerful, I suppose, but the runner obviously is offset by having that extra 4th click. And yeah, when you look at kind of runner play patterns of sort of draw, install, run, a click to spare to clear a tag or whatever, when you've only got 3 clicks, you're kind of locked into either setting up or trying to play aggressive.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of option to have that kind of flexible game plan. Yeah, Chris overclocking the remote, fetching out a Parisha. Or
Runs
where?
remote,
Yes, finds a spin.
Nice. This is also very important to find this early.
Yeah, you want to make sure that.
Trashes it. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay. Oh,
accepts the oppo, but yeah, we're still on 0 points.
We're still on turn
Jonah
0.
is not super rich. So
Yeah, this is.
acceptable risk probably.
Yeah, this is a fine. This is a perfectly fine trash here. There's no major worries about. Obviously, big oppo is not a risk, and I think Chris is pretty happy, even with this MCA ticking, to just take 2 tags, clear them, draw a card.
Yep.
You know, stay well and truly in this. But this Maryland is really paying off. All but now on 13 credits. I haven't done the maths on how much it will cost to kill, but I feel like
It's at least 8. And
least
then
8.
yeah, so at least 6. Sorry, to end of the line is 6 credits, and then maybe if you have to push up, maybe it's an audacity with
As
that
if,
protocol.
yes.
So that's
7.
7 credits. But there's probably, if you have public trail also, that is then maybe around 10 credits.
Yeah, so I think we're in a comfortable amount of money now for
But
the
nothing
corp.
is rest.
Nothing is rest. Yes.
Jonah. So I think that's also, his credits might be looking richer than they are. I think
We saw, yeah, so this MCA got popped for extra clicks. So we saw the MCA pop and fetching the Spin Doctor.
tempo MCA is really nice.
Isn't it just
Yeah.
using MCA as Damon Stone intended. Same as Biotic to click for 4 credits.
Yeah.
Shades of good, honest click gain, and none of this combo cheeky shenanigans. But yeah, just popping this MCA to do a little bit more setup. 2 spins this turn, so obviously 1 off the MCA pop. This is now spending one of Donald's many clicks this turn. Obviously looking for, what is he looking for at this board state, do you think?
I really don't know. Like if you look at his hand is still kind of clogged.
Yeah.
So maybe he just wants to reset it a bit,
Mm-hmm.
find more assets,
Yeah, I think.
find more kill lines.
Yeah, he's probably looking to set up a bit of a
Research.
an Oppo research play or a
Public
public trail
trail.
play, exactly.
Maybe he wants to do the combo once to fish out the no free lunch and then reset the board state and
to then try and go for it again
Yeah.
once you burn through some of this tech that Chris has. Yeah, I think that's definitely a solid shout. You know, with 3 spins, you do have a good bit of recursion. I don't think there's anything else in the list. Oh, there's Basalt Spire. So if you can score somehow a Basalt Spire, you can get back some of these combo pieces. But again, I think there's
2 tags.
2 tags, so an Oppo coming through. No threat online at the minute. So it's just going to be 2. And okay,
Just grinding him out.
yeah, maybe John has just realized that like this is actually a game that maybe he can actually just play a slower, grindier game plan, whittle down Chris's resources, and then maybe just slowly finish off with some urban renewal fires. But uh,
I think this would make me feel comfortable in Chris's position. If my opponent, like, because I can create explosive end game board states,
yes,
like end the game explosively. So knowing that my opponent wants to play for a longer game is giving me probably a bit more comfortable outlook on the game.
absolutely.
Although he has no credit creation on, like, no drip, nothing that gives him more value. I think his deck list is on a fermenter.
Yeah, I think there's one
fermenter.
fermenter, which which will give him a lot of that long term kind of stable econ. And even just I'm just looking at this object now. It's already pretty small. We've seen a lot of cards on the corp side between Ob Triggers, Rashida Fires, Spin Doctors. So we could be in for this object is really just flying through it. We see an MCA found again.
Yep.
It's
Ice by border control,
which is best ice in our but is secretly 2 pieces of ice for 1. Yeah.
That server will be inherently taxing for 3 clicks, basically. If you like, you click the MCA, then the border control, and then rerunning it is already basically a whole turn. And then you put a cheeky cross connection on top.
Oh.
And now we have a server cooking.
Now we have a server cooking is exactly right. I'm not sure what this is. This another spin doctor? I'm not sure on the alt art. I think this looks like one of Brindlemold's excellent alt arts. That's the spin down there. That is that's a Svigator. That is a very nice looking alt art. Yeah,
maybe this is the card that will give him the speed to actually start
getting his combo together. Exactly. It's just making it.
Considers the run on the urban renewal or the MCA.
That's a sandstone.
Okay, it looked like a border control. I misread it.
But this is actually quite awkward for propellers. There's going to be 3 of those 4 propeller counters to break through the sandstone. If you're Chris, you're kind of wondering, is this worth burning through a propeller? You do have symbol chips. You do have ways of, getting these limited use breakers back. But,
he still has 1 more round to consider on the MCA, but he also needs to take care of the urban renewal, which he probably does not want to run phase first because there's most likely forced connection in the server, or even rest virus is kind of nasty.
It's kind of rough. Yeah.
One net damage can actually ping cards out of your hand.
Exactly.
That you want to keep.
And this list is also playing one of Overseer Matrix as well, and Overseer Matrix can just make the maths on these trashes just so much more awkward.
Decides to break the sandstone.
And it looks like we're going to take care of this MCA. Probably not a bad choice. This urban, you can probably let this urban hit you once, but you can't, as you said, the timing on the urban and the MCA was lining up pretty perfectly. John will clearly very experienced with this deck. But the second urban renewal, that's a big res. Chris does have money. He has this Parisha, but that first urban renewal is going to cost a lot of resources to take care of. You probably also don't want to let this excavator stick around because it's just so much value for the corp.
That's 11 credits accounted for, and then potential Oppo, potential public trail, although we know where 1 Oppo is, so
we do know where the Oppo is. There is a public trail, but thankfully no free lunch. Kind of is basically just a counter to public trail.
I'm just now realizing, I think what Jonad did with the Oppo research was he wanted Chris to think that it was used because there's only 1 of in the list and he does not know that the pivot is in the hand. So maybe it gives him a false sense. He wants to give him a false sense of security to then pop the spin, pop the pivot, and
go for the opposition or the Oppo research. That is a very slick line. I'm sure Donald is I'm sure John has thought of this and is trying to bait Chris and kind of make him use up some of these resources, but this is a former world champion we're talking about.
Yeah.
A former world champion, world's finalist, regular nationals competitor. I think he won a Continentals, I think, or top cut at a Continentals a few years ago. Chris Dyer is no slouch.
And he gets his champ card rest on him.
And he does. He does. He gets his champ card resed. Fun fact, that was I believe that was originally meant to be an HB card.
Was
Chris Dyer is a big HB fan, and he originally wanted to be purple, but
yeah, it kind of fits the color palette.
it does.
You know,
But I'm
make it
sure
cool.
I'm sure the odd players are delighted that it got shifted into Wayland.
Resets him a virus.
Yes.
Like pops the border control into a virus. Realizes that he can just chip out key pieces.
Little bits of damage, like especially like gone are the days where you're playing these decks and you're playing something boom or high profile target where you don't really care about chip damage. But yeah, in a deck like this with urbans, with end of the lines, which you want to make as easy as possible for yourself, these Mavirus pings can be the game if possible, if potentially.
Even if it just hits an overclock, that's four
That's four
credits out of your
credits.
deck,
Exactly.
which you can actually bait the corp into making mistakes because it's not very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the run was ended. He can run back.
Yeah, I think he's debating, does he want to? He does have a pinhole threading, and we're going to see an Oiler.
Overinstalls the
Okay.
propeller. And still no console installed, so cannot have trick shots.
Trick shot. I think this is click 3 here. So he's going to trick shot RNG. And Donald is running low on credits. We were talking about his economic situation there a few turns ago, but those 13 credits have disappeared quite quickly. And this trick shot is very useful. If this is a force connection or an overseer matrix, you should be able to, I think, clear out this remote. The urban is 3. The overseer matrix, if you want to get rid of it, is 2 trash and overseer matrix. Yes, I know.
Oh, the overseer matrix.
Yes,
Yeah.
so overseer is 2, urban is 3.
Yeah.
The virus you can trash for free. I think that's an
That's
SF.
SF.
Ooh,
Nice.
very, very nice. What do we see here? Border controller looks like. That's a nice find. That's a potential kill combo piece snatched out of R&D. And yeah, I think he's debating now going after this urban renewal remote, and yeah, he's choosing to go for it. If he does end up taking 2 tags on this run, yeah, there's the overseer. He does have a no free lunch and a click spare that he can clear the tags and keep himself safe. Popping the SMC, wondering what you pop here for.
Maybe ferment.
Cupellation.
Oh yeah,
Cupellation gets him out of
you
this
read it right. Cupellation.
very, very nicely. So you can cup the
overseer because persistent does not interact with cupping.
Yes, yeah. You can cup the overseer matrix, and then just take care of the urban renewal. Put it away for good. That is a really, really nice find for Chris here.
Okay, cups the urban renewal.
Cups the urban renewal. Yeah,
it's cheaper.
It's cheaper. He also has he does have 2 pinholes in this list, so if he wants to take care of that overseer at a later point, very easily can.
We are going for the chip.
Going for the chip damage.
Finds the deep dive.
Finds the deep dive is a really good find. Chad is asking, is this Venti? No, this is not Venti Ob. This is 49 cards. Just doing a quick look. 8.
It looks like 49 cards.
It looks like
only 8 agendas. So
yeah, so 49 cards. This is not Venti. It's not playing mutually assured destruction either. This is it's a variation on the Man in the Moon style asset kill Ob, similar to Gagarin decks of prior metas. So that was a pretty good turn for Chris.
It was, but he went pretty low on credits. Obviously, Jonald's also not very high on credits, but
no,
has the Svigator on the table, can maybe just pop them sell them a virus to Svigator, and then he's up on credits again.
Or even sell the Sandstone and get himself a Maryland campaign. will get his money right back up there.
Yeah.
I'm just having a look as well at some of the ice we can get. There's one Afshar, there's one Descent, and the rest then are barriers. So 3 border control, 2 ice wall, and 2 sandstone.
But if you have been watching the game, it's quite apparent that both sandstones are accounted for because
Yes.
you went from border control into Mavabris, which you would not.
You wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't
No.
do that. That doesn't help you win the game
No.
or stop the runner from winning the game, especially since they are on propeller. Considers his eyes on HQ.
Yeah, I think this. Yeah, so this is Donald's turn here.
Yeah. No.
Oh no, so
they're
sorry.
running HQ.
Apologies. Yeah, so this must be.
This looks like an Afshar all dot, but I don't know actually.
That is an ice wall.
An ice wall.
Yes, that's
pretty.
a FFG promo ice wall. And yeah, Chris just happily bouncing.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to risk a potential oppo.
He has no way in.
He can. Well, there is the pivot line where you can shuffle it back with Spin Doctor, pivot it, and then play it. But yeah, probably even a public trail. You know, you don't want to have to give up 8 credits. Chris is actually low. He's on 7 credits at the minute. So
shuffles back, like I said.
there we are. Shuffles back the oppo. And yeah, I think John Old just wants to not necessarily play a grinder game plan, but definitely just wants to whittle down this lat into a position where he can pull off his combo kill.
Also, something that you're noticing when you play the lat list,
Mhm.
you play with a lot of house money.
Yes.
And there's 2 teleworks in the list, I believe.
Yeah, I think I saw 2 teleworks.
Yeah.
Obviously, 3
Three
Shagamble.
Shagambles, and the laundries, but that's laundry creative commission. But we're not seeing any of these played.
No.
Which is a bit of a risky position for Chris if he wants to continually engage with him, because assets he has to trash with real money, trick shot or overclock. But these are all things he has to find.
We also saw, so this is, I think there's 3 agendas at HQ at the minute, 2 Basalt Spires.
This is what you get for playing grindy asset game. Right?
Yes, and also when you're playing Ob, with all of the deck thinning that you do between Rashidas and Spin Doctors and your Ob ability, you do start to thin things out in R&D.
Yeah, it's in front of the Urban Renewal.
Nice for the Urban Renewal. The other thing as well to remember is we did see that value end of the line earlier on, which sniped 2 creative commissions and a trick shot.
Right.
So a lot of Chris's burst econ has already gone, and we did see, I think, 1 or 2 dirty laundries early game as well. So yeah, Chris's burst econ at the minute, not great, but he is managing the board quite well. And we have 2 tags here coming from
Small Oppo.
So, a little baby Oppo.
Still doesn't feel good.
No, this isn't something like Aura Plus where you're happy to just fire off an Oppo research and just take the 2 credits back.
And also, so this is actually a real fork for Chris right now. See, he's on 2 hands. He needs to clear the Urban Renewal. 2 cards in hand. He needs to clear the tags.
Yes.
So it's actually really compressed.
I think he's looking here to
draw 2 cards, right? Drew 2 cards just now.
Draw, remove a tag, and then no free draw. Remove both tags.
Yeah. And now let's see Urban Renewal fire.
I think you could have potentially done a 3rd draw. So you get your lap draw. So done draw.
Yeah.
And then remove a tag and pop the no free lunch.
Yeah.
But that is giving up your no free lunch, which you probably want for something like a public trail.
Yeah.
A public trail line. So yeah, I think if he had gone with that line, he would have ended with 6 cards in hand, which I think saves him from Urban plus Azif.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that is real break.
Real break on hand. Yeah, so this is what is, I think there was a cleaver we saw. So
yeah,
Chris...
cleaver, fermenter, turbine, and deep dive.
Okay.
So both deep dives are accounted for. And he does not go for the kill line, instead for the drudge work. So
yeah.
Really not comfortable in his ability to kill.
He mustn't have the Azif in play. Yeah, we have 1 Azif gone, so there's 2 left in the deck. I think this drudge work, was this drudge work in Ano's excavator?
He 2'd for it before.
Okay, so is that the Azif? Do we have the kill?
I think he would
No. Yeah, you think if you had the kill, it would be
very obvious.
slammed onto the table at lightning speed.
Yep. I think he's going to clear his hand.
Yeah, so get rid of this basalt. We get rid of the second basalt, I'd say.
You probably feel very comfortable shuffling the agendas back into R&D right now, knowing that 2 deep dives are accounted for.
Yes,
Like,
and
he has to DJ Fenris for them.
he has to DJ Fenris, and there is actually only 2 deep dives in
Yeah.
the list. So Chris's win condition is gone unless he can find this DJ Fenris. I don't think you're gonna have a window of opportunity in this game to install a DJ and make runs on HQ. So Chris is in an okay position, but I wouldn't call it good
No, we are
necessarily.
seeing the lines closing for him
Yes.
very much. Especially since he again lost core pieces, although I think you are happy to get your cleaver in the bin, your turbine in the bin. The only important card was the deep dive, I would say.
Yes. So yeah, and again losing the 2 creatives and the trick shot early, like I'm sure an early trick shot would have
hurt more.
been brilliant to get, but Chris still navigating very, very well in this position.
Contest the spin doctor?
Yeah, I think just wants to try and get all this recursion out of the game as much as he can. We're seeing the MCA. Yep, and the urban. This is Jonald's game plan is very apparent here.
And I can already tell you the NRDB matchup will be like, no, this is not really grinder. This is combo kill, and it's like the kill lines are very obvious, and like it will be like hazing himself into believing that this was not a grinder.
This is not a grinder deck. Wink, wink. Chat is asking what's the score. It's 2-0 to Chris currently, and Chris is the higher seed as well. In the case we do go to time and the agenda points are tied, but I don't think we're going to be in that position.
Also, I think if we go towards that kind of development in a game, in this game, John can just pass the to Anson Azif to equalize the score.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, shuffles back another agenda, so this was 9 points in his hand.
9 points. So I'm just trying to look at R&D at the minute. R&D is there a dozen cards in R&D?
It looks like 15 cards.
Looks like at 15 at most. So R&D is going to be packed with agendas. About 50%. We have 7 left that can be scored. Yeah. But with 5, 10, 15, 18, 19 credits.
Yeah.
I think Donald is perfectly capable of keeping R&D defended while he sets up again his very dangerous board state.
Leaves the MCA undefended, which is I think just telling Chris that if you come, you get output. If you don't come, you are squeezed.
Yes. And it is protected by this overseer matrix. So even if you do decide that you want to take the oppo, you're going to be clicked quite hard on, you're compressed quite hard on this overseer matrix. And Chad is pointing out that, Chris doesn't need a win condition right now. All Chris needs to do at the minute is just survive.
I think that's not as easy if you are on
It's not
3 credits and when your opponent constantly actually goes for value digs.
Yeah.
This is usually unexpected, but helps you set the game forward.
But I think Chris is just realizing that he does have the advantage here. He has the points. He is on the time advantage here. All he needs to do is just wait and wait and wait.
Has found a stone chip.
Was that a stone chip? That is really possibly the best draw he could get in this position. Stone chip and no free lunch. I don't know. That is a tricky position for this orb to kill through.
Another thing that you might consider is now that your odds are this stacked in R&D, which I think Chris realizes himself.
Yes.
You can just trick shot.
You can just trick shot and find the 2 agendas.
Yeah.
I think the unres card there, I think I saw was a Amalia. So one of these tech pieces is going to get blanked, but if you have that that stone ship, it's even having one is pretty good and makes you pretty safe. Having both is great.
Yeah.
Let me see another urban renewal.
It's the
Hit the
fourth
table.
one this
This
game.
is I think it might be the 20th at this point, but yeah, I think we're at 4 urban renewals played and rezzed this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ob is just happy to try and compress. It's not even grinder necessarily. I might be believing Jono that this isn't actually grinder.
No.
It is just forcing Chris to interact in uncomfortable ways. But yeah, I think Chris is very happy at the minute to just draw, play slowly. Obviously not slow play, but just, not do anything too drastic.
Yeah. We are seeing also 7. Is this 7 or 4 points in HQ?
I think it's a slash and burn and a Zeph and an
Yeah,
assault in HQ.
So even 3 agendas.
3 agendas.
Okay. I mean,
Which I think
the compilation is
that
very
compilation,
juicy.
it's very juicy. But Chris can't really make a great run at
No.
the minute. He does have the symbol chip, but he doesn't have any money. He only has 5 credits.
But you only need 1 credit to get in. Like there's all the ice that John has 1 end the run. You flicker into the propeller.
Yep.
Or maybe you flicker the installed Euler for 0 credits you get in most likely. And yeah, actually what would be kind of annoying would be the Afshar.
I was going to say the Afshar is probably the best, or the worst for Chris anyway, the worst ice that could be on HQ at the minute. And I think given it's been there for most of the game, I'm guessing it's the one of Afshar. Just seeing, I think we're still on Jonal's turn. He's taking his mandatory draw here. Chris last turn just played a telework on Drew. He played the telework and clicked the telework. So slowly getting his econ back up to scratch.
On the real credits.
Found the real credits.
This also protects you into both Oppo and public trail. If the Malia is on the table, you can.
Yes.
So you have you cannot interact without real credits because you don't know what the face downs are. You cannot run any face down just to check because then if it's not a Malia or you open up yourself for a public trail Oppo, and if it's a Malia, you open yourself up for the Oppo line.
Yes. We're seeing this MCA clicked for the click tax and popped.
Yep.
So up to 5 clicks, and I think this could be. I don't think maybe John has seen the combo kill line, but no, he's advance. What has John?
This is probably the Audacity.
This has to be the Audacity, but I'm just not sure what line. Yeah, I'm very scared. I don't know what the line is that's in his hand that lets him kill in this position. There's a slash and burn.
He's trying to play the slash and burn. I feel like this is just the grinder line.
I think this might actually just be the grinder line. Jono just wants to chip and chip and chip and make this urban rule just really, really awkward to deal with. Because if he just chips away at these hands and these cards in Chris's hand, this urban rule is going to become very hard to deal with.
Advance.
Okay, going manually scores the Azef. We're going to need to trash something. Probably trashing. Do you trash on this board state?
So the 2 Rashidas are accounted for, so you don't sell the Overseer Matrix, which is also very useful for you.
It is very good.
Yeah, I was about to say the Svigator might be like the least bad one.
Yeah, the Svigator, I mean, you're good for money. You're good for money. I don't think you really need it anymore. And yeah, it's been trashed for the Azif. We see an Anakam and his SMC hit by the meat damage.
Anakam, something you actually
really want.
Really want, yes.
But
he doesn't have the credits to do it, so it's
no.
Click one draw. Yes.
Yeah, Donald is just tight on points, 2-all, but just very slowly restricting the lines that Chris has access to. This is a really, really excellent game here from Donald, but equally so, an excellent game from Chris for just treading water,
Yep.
keeping alive, maintaining the board state, maintaining enough of his own board state that he has just the right amount of tools that he needs to react to whatever Donald is doing.
Jonathan does not actually look like he's in a comfortable position. This is like none of the game we were like, oh yeah, this is easy. Next turn he's going to win.
He's going to go for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
his lines have been very careful,
Yeah.
but they've been very awkward. His draws have not been this kind of seamless display of what this deck can do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. So I think we're still on. I think Chris's
Jonathan's
turn.
turn.
Yeah, this is Donald's turn.
Scores another.
Is it safe?
Okay.
Maybe he just wants to score.
No, I think now he wants to open the urban renewal even further.
Yes.
So maybe this is a weird way.
This is a
for
weird
this game to go on.
And the other thing, well, this Azif score actually, now that I think about it, this Azif score is actually very, very good. So it's taking 2 cards out of Chris's hand. Now he has a Stone Ship and no free lunch. We do suspect that that is a Malia on the board beside the Overseer Matrix.
This wheels and this second Anikam. There's a third one with that.
And the wheels as well. It's a really good draw that I'm sure Chris would have loved. But this Urban Renewal now, if Chris decides to go trash it, which you have to assume that he's definitely contemplating at this point, this will now open up big oppo because we're now at threat 3. So this Azif score is pretty key in giving Donald access to more kill lines.
That might actually be the consideration, not even cheesy timed wins.
Just turn on big oppo and constrict. But this pinhole, extremely useful in this board state.
Yeah, probably realizes exactly this, that Chris does not have to interact as aggressively as as Jonathan wants to, because otherwise we would go to free threat.
We're seeing pinhole, draw, perhaps. Get that lat trigger, go to 6 cards in hand. And then you have your Stone Ship, you have your no free lunch. Comfortably, I think. I wouldn't say comfortable, but definitely safe from all but the most obscure kill lines.
Yeah, I do think this is now going into like an end game phase.
Yeah, I think
where we now like this dance around.
Yeah, this poking, this sort of establishing, chipping away at each other's resources. But yeah, especially with 15 minutes left on the clock, the time we thought we wouldn't be going to time, but here we are 45 minutes later.
True.
It is looking like that could be a potential end for this game.
Yeah.
Donald now just considering what his options are. He's drawing first click. Or was that his mandatory? I think that might have been his mandatory draw.
That could also be it.
Yeah. So we're seeing install in the sandstone. I think we're 2 spins down. I think there's 1 spin doctor left. Assuming that Donald did spin back the spin that got trashed in the early game.
He did.
Great. So yeah, there's one spin doctor, I think, on account of
changes his install onto the Overseer Matrix.
This could be yet another the 5th urban renewal of this game.
What does it look like to you? How many cards Chris has in his deck? 5, 7,
Is it that low?
You know, like
I think it's about 10ish maybe. I'd say similar to 10 to 15 absolute most. But that graveyard, or that heap, it's firmly about double the size of the deck. And yeah, there's the Afshar.
I think might be 1 turn too late, 2 turns too late to actually go dig into HQ, because Jonathan has been.
Or just going for the cupulation.
Yeah, goes for the cupulation. That's what you need to do just
at this point. Find
more points. Also, he can go now since Jonathan has been equalizing on the points.
Absolutely.
so you don't need to be safe anymore and like play safe into Oppo.
That is a
End of the line.
that's an end of the line.
So public trail, end of the line, and
That's
slash
slash
and
and
burn.
burn. Okay, so we're back tied on points again. 4 points apiece.
Also, knows that the combo is in hand,
Yes.
and is there now an unrest card on? There are 2 unrest assets on the table. I think you said one of those is the Malia.
I think this unresed asset beside the Overseer Matrix remote, I think is
Oh, that's the
Salt
GG.
the Spy in the remote.
Oh no.
That's GG.
Okay, yeah, he was just flooded.
He just got flooded, tried to squeak out, tried to just hope that Chris wouldn't see the basalt.
Yeah.
What a
That's strategic acting.
wow, that is yeah, I think Chris his plan there, I saw him pop the symbol chip. I think his plan was to pop the copulation for value to get his 3 accesses and then get it into the heap so he could then cup whatever is in that remote that could be potentially terrifying. But it turns out John will just putting the basalt into the remote. Commiserations to John. What a fantastic run.
Fantastic run. Fantastic player.
Fantastic player. Really one of these like up and coming kind of new players in the competitive scene. 3rd place in his 3rd nationals. And yeah, chat pointing out this was a long game. The agendas did eventually end up in HQ. You know, R&D did just become a ton of agendas towards the end of the game, and at that point, so hard to filter these agendas out of the game. Really well played by both players. Congratulations to Chris, who will be meeting Theo in the finals of UK Nationals. Chris coming from the lower side bracket, so we'll have 2 games to play to potentially to take that national championship. Theo, just the one needed, but well done again to both players. Well done to John for a fantastic weekend. Well done to Chris as well.
Very disciplined running.
Extremely disciplined. If you want to know how to run with limited resources, how to navigate tricky board states with complex forks and tight squeezes and compressions, rewatch that game. That's how you do it. I think it's time for us to bow out.
Thanks for watching.
Yes, thank you for watching. We'll hand you back over to the most beautiful casting team in the land.
We'll be 5 minutes and we'll be straight back on.
Thank you very much, folks.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 2024 Netrunner UK National Championship.
Woo!
This is what we've been waiting for. This is the final. My name is Baran Wu. I'm joined to my right by Extract.
Hello again.
We've had quite a weekend.
We have had an amazing weekend.
There's been some Netrunner has been played.
Just a little bit. 10 Swiss rounds.
10 Swiss rounds yesterday. Double top cut.
Double elimination top. Double elimination top 16. And so far, 14 out of 16 players have been eliminated. So we have 2 players going into our grand final.
And what are 2 players? I mean, the run that these 2 have been on for this weekend is kind of phenomenal. I guess we can probably just pull up Cobra, or we can't. There we go. So going into our final or potentially final round. So this is double elimination. So right now, Theo, which is
Dapperatchik. Okay. We're gonna. This is what are you right now? You are looking
pretty dapper.
You're looking pretty dapper.
And if I needed to fix a screw, I might use a ratchet. So
Dapperatchik. There we go.
We have Dapperatchik on the left, who was second pretty much consistently throughout the whole of yesterday's Swiss.
Yep, absolutely. Very strong showing.
From about round 3 onwards, they were a very solid second place, with the only person that was ahead of them all day being the contestant on the right, Nemamiah, aka Chris Dyer, who went undefeated yesterday apart from 1 loss. And just remind me who
Dapperatchik.
Absolutely.
These 2 have been circling each other, eyeing each other up all week and weekend, and now finally the fight comes to it.
That's true, and even today it continued today. So we had our rounds of the cup today, and Chris Dyer took 1 loss today. And just remind me who that loss was to.
I believe it was to Dapperatchik.
It was to Dapperatchik.
So this is actually going to be really critical going into this. So final format, they were still in double elimination.
Yes.
And Dapperatchik Theo still has both of their lives as such.
Absolutely.
Which means Chris Dyer is having to take the uphill, the long route if they want to get that route to the national champion crown throne. They have to win 2 games.
Absolutely.
Whereas Theo only needs to win 1. So everything.
Also, worth noting that Theo won 3 games in a row in sort of quick succession today, and then has had a really quite lovely break.
He's rested. He's been chilling. He's been having a lovely time. Whereas Chris has just been treadmill the whole day,
working his way up from the lower bracket. Not quite like he was in the top bracket for the first 2 games. Got knocked down, as we said, by Theo. We saw that game on stream. And going into the final, we're actually going to see an exact rerun of that game because. I believe it is Chris to Corp first, and Dapperatchik. Sorry, it is Dapperatchik to Corp first. Chris is going to be playing lat. So this is a mirror match, or not a mirror match, the same match that we saw earlier. But it was a tight game either way, so it could have swung either way, and it felt like Chris has had a pretty bad start in the last round. What we saw this matchup, so this could easily go either way. So we're going to be seeing Theo's Corp deck, the only asset in the cups, and one of only 2 PD lists.
One
of only 2 HB
lists. I was going to say the HB faction having more than just PD, and in fact having Asa, which is also. So this is something. This is a click taxing, a click compressing, a click attacking deck that is entirely that is focusing on making it impossible to steal one of the 3 encounters, and indeed making it very difficult to contest the board state that you start building up with your cohort guidance programs, your MC austerity policies, your Rashidas, your powers that be, and your wage workers to just create this massive value every single term
Absolutely, and as well, we've got ways of scoring out in remotes. We can make a remote pretty safe. There's some ice. We've got Managarm Skunkworks, which is a pretty taxing upgrade, which can secure some of those remotes to allow us to score out in the remotes. And we have cards such as Seamless Launch, which can help accelerate that, along with cohort guidance programs for wage workers. But we also have a fast advance threat here, don't we?
Oh, we do, and we do a little bit. So there is, I believe, if I remember correctly, an Audacity, that one of Audacity for influence,
Absolutely.
not a cheap splash. And you're absolutely looking to make value out of that. And you have 3 Vitruviuses and Illuminals. So if the runner if the court gets to 5 points, there is the danger that they just Audacity out, close the game, and of course the runner no clot, because apparently we don't consider fast advance a threat.
And as well as the Audacity, there are 3 copies of MCA Austerity Policy in this deck.
Of course, yes.
And this is a card which we've seen in almost every corp today, whether it's yellow, green. I don't think there's maybe one of the PE decks wasn't playing it. I think one of the PE decks was playing it.
And of course, MCA Austerity Policy, but not a recent card, not even an NSG card.
Not at all. Last hurrah for that particular card.
Indeed. That card came out in the middle of the Flashpoint. No, this is Red Sands.
This is Red Sands, yeah.
Red Sands cycle. Yes, of course, because Flashpoint is rotated.
Yes.
So unless all of the top 16 are playing illegal decks, no, this is the beginning of Flashpoint. Now, do we want to check on the thing? I think we are getting the
That's
thumbs
right.
up.
We're going to do 3 minutes. So this we see Chris Dyer's decks, which have not copied and pasted quite as nicely, but we see this guy quite nasty R+ version with also MCA Austerity Policies. We've got Bladderworts and a B1001 alongside Armani Sinai's, and those really interesting Vladimir City Grid as a very nasty way of being able to potentially fast advance out even an artificial crypto crash. Again, we're talking about assets, some of them kind of put behind ice, and a fast advance threat on board as well.
Absolutely. And yeah, we got a taste of this earlier, I believe, when because we saw Seamus playing this deck, exactly the R+ deck, I believe.
Yeah.
So we saw that, and the lat deck. So it's an Anakim. Is Theo's deck?
Actually, yeah. Well, I think Theo's list. So let's have a look. No, Theo's on Swift.
Oh, so this is going to be the decider. This is going to answer the question once and for all. Is Anakim or Swift the better lat?
Because the first match we're going to see is going to be Chris Dyer's here, which is an Anakim lat list, and Anakim has been the less popular of the 2 options we have. The Hannah Wheels could be really, really big here if Chris finds it early. And
copulation also as an R+ player, I can tell you copulation hitting the death is just something that makes my eyes roll every time, because copulation critically denies those oppo plays because it doesn't count.
Absolutely, and obviously trick shot being an incredibly important thing,
massive.
And it's great in Anakim, it's great in Swift, it's great in everyone just now. We've been seeing a lot of trick shots flying every which way over the weekend. I think it's probably time to jump over to the tables, so we're going to do that right now. And here for people unfamiliar with faces in front of you, on the right-hand side of the screen, we have Nemamiah, aka Chris Dyer. Apologies if we refer to them as Chris. It's sometimes just rolls off the tongue a little easier. And on the left, we have Dapperatchik, aka Theo.
And I think we've got we have Chris Corping by the looks of it, and Theo running.
In which case I was misinformed.
That's okay. We
are ready to go. Okay. I will change this while we're sorting this out.
Well, we're just setting up. Okay.
So this is actually good. We get to see the mirror match first because we've already seen the other side of this. So this time around, we're going to be seeing Chris's R+ deck, which is that MCA Bladderwort Misery Prison and
Tempo. I'm sure he would correct us that it's a tempo deck, not a prison deck.
versus the Swift version of Deep Dive
In
Labs.
my opinion, the better version, but especially versus MCA, that extra click can make a big difference.
Absolutely, yeah. Very, very true, very true. Okay, so I think runners and cops are currently taking their mulligans, I believe.
Yep, just setting up. So the finals is untimed. So I expect to see very thinky turns. Whether we have quite the same as the World's Finals, which took I believe it was 90 American minutes,
It was indeed.
because it was a very thinky game.
Very, very similar to a UK minute. Interestingly.
One to one, some say.
Yeah. Good exchange rate there.
No, so Dapperatchik is playing that, and Nemamiah is playing.
Yes. Oh no. Okay. Right. I'll. Yeah. WoTube, etc. Continue to riff for me.
It's all right. It's what I'm here for. So, what I suspect what the Corp is looking to do is they're looking to slam down. They need to defend HQ. They need to defend R&D as quick as possible. We're opening with a very rapid 3 remote start, which is a bit of a classic R plus. Now with there's Bladder Warts there are Rashidas. There's even potentially the option for a cheeky turn 1 attempt to score, which there was.
There we go.
Which there
That's an incredibly
That's
an incredibly good value steal. Now, is Chris bold enough to put 2 out on the board? Vio just keeping him honest here.
Yeah, no, very, very bold playbackers, because if that had gone off, that would have dictated a whole bunch of the pace of this game. But here we are. Theo reads and takes reads that the agenda was out there, and takes it away from Chris, denying him that leg up from the arrows, which would have been huge. But here we are.
Absolutely, and also obviously installing the fermenter, playing a creative kiss mission. That leaves Theo with 3 cards in hand, which is going to get him that lap draw. The important part of that ID, you're going to get free draw as long as you can kind of match your hand size with the core. I think Chris just installed some more cards here. We've got ice on R&D. We see
Bladder
Wart, which Theo's going to take down.
Oh, absolutely going to take down. So Corp already a little bit on the back foot here. Losing the arrows is something. There is a shipment from Vlad, which does allow the Corp to potentially start threatening to score there. But the runner doing okay on money, and a little oppo could change that quite a bit. We'll see.
I think that fermenter is going to be really key.
Yeah,
early
so
fermenter and an early symbol chip, so even we can pop that fermenter and we can get it straight back on the board if we need that big injection of cash at any point. There's no way of purging that easily for Chris, like other than spending his whole turn to make a purge, which at some point when fermenters at 4 or 5 counters, you've got to consider it.
You can't afford that tempo. I mean, I think the primary way that Chris is going to try and get rid of this, but I don't think Theo is going to let him, is by Amaniing it back. So of course, when you Amani it, all the counters come off.
Yeah, very nice. And fermenter is not something that you can pop mid-turn. So we've got Theo drawing into the first of the deep dives there. It looks. We also have a compilation already in hand, so we've got some strong tools, but we just want money right now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, cupsing a Bladder Wart to further set the Corp back on time is not a bad chat. You could also cup that shipment that discipline grid, but for now, Theo just getting himself a telework, keeping the money up, which is absolutely a good play, because Oppo is only really a threat when the Corp is rich and has a suitable amount of
must trashables.
Yeah, must trashables, they call it. So down comes the Marilyn. The Bladder Wart got trashed. That middle card, we still don't know what it is.
No, we've seen that first one, which Chris just iced up. That's definitely the Vlad grid, and we're already seeing an advance on that. So this is threatening a score out. I believe that Chris is currently only on about 3 credits. But that is enough to res a ping, and you'll get that money straight back.
Straight back.
Also, enough money to res an Enigma. So we're not giving away exactly what this ice is, apart from the fact that it probably costs more. It could probably cost 2 or 3 credits.
Yeah, so it's a difficult one, and this is a real threat because there are 3 errors in the deck. One's obviously been stolen already, which is denying that to the court. But it's now loaded. The second that a Ares lands in HQ, you can blab that out. It's expensive, but it might be totally worth it for the amount of tempo you gain from that.
I mean, you also it's expensive, but then you have a rezzed Vladimir City Grid, which kind of has to be trashed, and when it is trashed, that's going to be 2 credits for you or 2 cards.
And the tag and all the rest.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I think forcing the res might not be a bad shout. You have enough money that you can clear the tags, and slowing the court down by forcing a res, absolutely a very valid play here, I think.
Yeah. The other thing to consider is obviously Theo has a good amount of credits right now. It looks about 6, and that means that Chris could potentially score an artificial crypto crash off of this.
That would be...
And that's going to wipe Theo down to nothing. Now, luckily, he's got this Fermenter ticking up. He's got the telework ticking up. So they're safe as long as there's not also a Marnie on the board, which could bounce back the Fermenter, which would be a really, really strong and painful play for Theo to have to deal with.
The infamous pad campaign for Tempo Marnie tonight absolutely could. Oh, okay, and we're going to find out whether that is an Marnie.
No, I think we're trashing the Mariner. I mean, this does make sense. Chris is poor. Very, very poor.
This is the first game.
Yes. So
Theo still on 2 lives as it were. So Chris fighting tooth and nail to stay in.
Yeah. Top seed is Theo, indeed. Chris has been battling his way up from the lower bracket. Theo taking the easy route in. We see a Revolver coming down.
I think sensing potentially a Starlit Knight as a threat.
Yeah, maybe also just wanting to get it out of hand and not really having other cards that they want to play right now. So Atien looks like it could be an Armani, but we don't know what that is yet. So there's always a chance.
If I was going to take the read, I would say that's an Armani. It's not been res. It's not been moved. Yeah. It's not been moved. It's not Behold because there's no Beholds in the list because Chris doesn't. Far too sensible.
Yeah. The other thing it could be is a Spin Doctor, something that you might not want to quite res.
Down comes an MCA saying you need to come get this. You need to come and get this now. But no Oppo off that trash. Chris, bit low on cash at the minute. Only floating 2. Oppo generally can run fairly poor, but we're shipping for Vladimir. It's very expensive.
Yeah. Just to let Meteor know in chat, there's no real traps in here. This is just sort of tempo prisony R+. There's Bladderworts, there's MCAs, and there's Ares. It's the kind of 3 big headlines for the deck itself. And kind of unsurprising that we've seen so much MCA. I think do well because I think everyone is scared of Deep Dive at the moment. Deep Dive is the win con to be aware of. Lat was incredibly strong in its showing throughout the whole tournament with over half of the
another Bladderwort. Oh, that's
getting rid of the Bladderwort.
The Fermenter's ticked up to 5. Now there is a question whether you take this, because if you don't take this, you are going to have to take it on the turn that you're clearing the tags. And if Chris forks the runner by doing something you have to respond to and tagging with Oppo when you're low on credits, you won't have enough time to take the money up Fermenter and respond to the threat. Copulation coming down.
Okay, I feel like we might be going in. We're either going and getting the MCA, or we're just setting up nicely for next time. We've got to get some cards out of hand to get to hand size here, possibly. Theo, just thinking about his last.
I think that was the last play. He only had 3 clicks because the NCA is still there.
So that's interesting because Theo might have thought that he still had the click to take those 3 credits. Which
be careful of that.
Might have been quite important. Like you say, if we click the MCA and we land even just a small Oppo, that's the whole of Theo's turn to then deal with that. Now, Chris is pretty poor right now. He really would have liked one of those Bladderwalks to stick, at least for a
Yeah,
moment,
absolutely.
because they would be just milling out some of the runners' cards as we went.
Spin Doctor into draw and draw up. Now, I'd be very surprised if Chris doesn't click this MCA at some point. What's he going to do with his third click? I suspect he's going to be trying to get a money asset out.
Yeah,
Like, he could probably install a naked Rashid here.
possibly. I mean, you might even install it behind this piece of ice that's protecting the
Yes, you can, because
the city grid.
Validity boost.
Because we're still assuming that that's a ping. Now, if it is an enigma, then he might not want to do that.
I
He
feel
wouldn't be able
like
to afford it.
I feel like you don't go down to 2 if you have if it's an enigma, because otherwise
Possibly.
they might just walk in and cups it. Could
We're-
we get a credit?
The other is there a no? Just discarding the card. Okay.
Okay.
He's got spin doctor out, so tabletop's it. Well, I don't know if it's desperate. I think Chris just needed some tempo, and Theo's also not really in the place to trash that spin doctor right now. So
I don't know. I think Theo's in a pretty good place. Like, he's got 12 credits just sitting on that fermenter, ready to cash in whenever you want. And Chris is not going to purge. He can't afford the tempo to do that at this stage. So
also, though he did click the MCA last time.
He did.
So one play that we might even see would be to pop off this MCA so that you can purge and still do stuff on tempo. But that's not going to happen because we have popped that fermenter. That is 12 credits
And
for
that-
what was
with that-
essentially 2 clicks.
and for that Theo is so fly. 14 credits, like, that's pretty unassailable. Now, it's not over Chris yet. Like, Theo still has a bit of a mountain to climb. He needs to get through the danger zone of three side where you can get taken to the big oppo. But if he keeps on top of Chris's board state like this, Chris is never going to get enough money to make that big oppo viable. Theo's just going on a trashing spree.
Yeah. Interestingly, he ran the MCA first and then Spin Doctor. I would have thought that running Spin Doctor first to kind of force the shuffles in case Chris, like, give them less options of what you want to spin back.
True. But I think Theo correctly assessed that Chris would prioritize the Bladderwalk, so it didn't really matter, and that is correct because right now Chris is so
he
short
needs
on cash.
he needs things that make his deck work, but also that give him money. And Bladderwalk does both of those things.
And Theo's been really carefully playing around the free tax that Chris got. As far as I know, Theo hasn't taken a single tax so far.
Not so far, and this is playing into R plus is pretty hard to dodge tax for eternity. But a lesson that Ares gets. I mean, could you imagine how different this game would be if Chris had managed to score that Ares first turn? It's just a completely different. It's a completely different game from the start.
Big Oppo isn't a meme member of. It's just facts. If you're a threat 3, you get taken into the big Oppo, the Oppo Extra with the attached car park.
Yeah. So here we're seeing.
We do call it Oppo Express. Thank you very much.
Oh, we did also. Theo did make the play of bringing that fermenter straight back with the sim chip.
Yeah,
it's really
very
wise.
sensible. Keep Marilyn. Chris not resin because he can't really afford to have the 2 credits. I think trashing. Yeah. Trashing. Theo just absolutely controlling Chris's cash flow. Like, it might become a point where it's just easier for Chris to click for credits than it is for him to keep putting stuff out. That Theo's just gonna keep trashing because Theo is so flush at the minute.
Yeah.
He's got the Telework go. He's got the fermenter go. He's pinholing presumably to cut the Vlad to cut off another nerve.
Yeah, just to the simul chip install was done. Sorry, the fermenter install was done with the simul chip, so that is clickless as long as you've trashed a program on the turn. We've got a res coming on Chris's side here, I think. Yeah, okay, federal fundraising. I'm pretty sure that was not going to stick around for very long. But
no. Theo is absolutely. I don't think Theo is run centrals at all. He's absolutely playing a control the board state. Run the core out. Make them keep putting stuff out. You just keep trashing. You keep the money up. Like, this is a very classic counter asset play where you basically just pretend centrals more or less don't exist.
I mean,
a load of turns to just run out the core.
I think. Okay, I was going to say I think Chris needs to get a econ asset in this iced remote, but Chris disagrees, and he's the world champion, not me. But he's
Well,
going for an MCA play here. I think
the problem is if you put an econ asset in, you're basically saying I'm just going to let stuff build up in hand, and then that stops the runner from disrupting your econ for a little bit. But in the meantime, the runner can be like, oh, you just got some econ. Okay, well now I'm just playing a regular game and I'm just going to start attacking central.
yeah, I
And
guess
you've got no way of releasing that pressure.
that's fair. And this compilation has been sitting there for several turns. It's just reminding everyone that at any one point, if you flood up a little bit too much in HQ, then I could come in, steal a card, come back, and see 3 whole cards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, so Chris is on 4 credits, excuse me, which is quite dangerous because that means if Theo accidentally touches a crypto crash, they might get taken to the big oppo. Now, big oppo isn't too much of a threat. Theo is sitting on 7, but install MCA big oppo.
But how many credits is Chris on here? This looks like 2, right?
I think it might be 4.
Okay,
a 3 and a
it
1.
might be a 3 and a 1. I think Chris is on 1s and 3s like a villain. Potentially, so at 4, no, you still need 1 more credit. No,
Yeah.
you can do it from 5, right?
Yeah, you can take them to the big oppo from 5.
Fine. Okay, we've run and trashed the federal, which I think we both assumed was going to happen.
Yeah. Theo absolutely maintaining the pressure, not giving the corpse any outs.
Haven't seen a simul chip yet from Theo, but also doesn't have the MU available to do them. So we've got quite a few run events in hands like overclocks, which aren't really seeing the best of play right now.
Yeah, I mean they did cycle fermenter with a simul chip, so we've had 1 so far.
No, SMCs.
SMC, excuse me. Okay, Chris, Chris, I think going okay. He's gonna control my build state. I'm just gonna click for credits. Can't take away my basic action card.
As of yet, that is untrashable.
Well, I was thinking SMC because that'll let them start contesting this MCA because they're not Anacam, they're Swift.
Yeah, but like they would need either to maybe pop this fermenter for the credits or put down a console so that they had enough MU. But there are options. The other thing would be to use this compilation up. But yeah, Theo's definitely in control, but hand's starting to look like just the tiniest bit clunky.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Theo pops some money. Click 1 of 3. Now I have a sneaking suspicion that Chris either has a quick zone or an arrows in hand.
We do see that SMC. So yeah, I think this fermenter was as much as clicking for money. I think this was clicking for so that you had the MU to do this.
So
now,
this is actually his
last click, right?
Last click run. If this is a ping, Theo might be in trouble here.
Well, you end up with 1 tag, and what we've worked out about this deck is
it's an enigma.
1 tag isn't that bad. It was an enigma all along.
It was an enigma.
I think there were turns here where Theo could have just run through that.
Just take it. Just no. Gets the oil.
So this breaking here for absolutely nothing other than the Oiler install, because on the turn that Oiler is installed, it breaks code gates for 0 credits and comes in at 2 strength. So that's going to deal with the enigma incredibly efficiently.
Yeah. Okay. Real threat.
Also forcing Chris to spend some more money, which is a big resource. And Oiler is pretty good into enigma as it is.
Yeah.
It's annoying into some eyes because you always have to spend 2 to break 2 subs, but you almost always want to break both subs on the enigma anyway.
Absolutely. So this is looking rough. Theo's now on 13 credits, even after trashing an MCA.
Yeah.
And Chris's board state is currently an enigma, a res enigma, and a res federal. No money ticking in. Those have been trashed. He's gone through 1 spin doctor already. Chris, really, I like this is looking pretty rough.
I also think I can't quite see Chris's hand, but there's a chance that the 2 cards on the end is 2 copies of Shipment from
I
Valdis,
believe it is, yes.
which is obviously like completely dead card currently. You don't really want to throw it away because that is a really big part of the potential win con and the tag threat. But right now it's just taking up space, like important space in Chris's hand. And I think you might be right. I see what could be an artificial crypto crash in there.
I have well, I mean, it's been a it's been a long game so far, and Chris doesn't have any hasn't been tracking anything to shuffle back. So I really don't think there's anything here to relieve the pressure of agendas just coming into Chris's hand. We see a little oppo coming in. A free oppo from plus.
Yeah, I think what you just call a sort of tempo oppo. This is just trying to slow Theo down a tiny bit. It's going to spend 2 clicks, 4 credits, but I think Theo can still challenge this remote, get in, trash whatever's in there.
You really want to combine it with an MC Ace of the runner only has 1 spare click, because right now the runner can just go clear tag, 2 clicks spare, go and check their remote.
Theo also has an overclock in hand, which is going to get through that enigma and trash something up to 3 cost, all for the cost of 1 real credit to pay.
Really rough thinking.
Theo thinking here though, this is, as much as I think we also see a DJ Fenris now.
You could do. I mean, that is your long-term econ option, but like,
I don't know if you play that this turn, but I think I just glimpsed it in hand, and that's certainly something to be aware of.
So Theo having a think. Definitely in a dominating position, but that can turn so quickly in games like this.
Oh, absolutely. And
score is 1 to 0. Theo playing a board control setup at the minute, and has just taken an arrows that was out turn 1. Not seen any points on either side since.
Okay. Oh, we also see a trick shot in hand, but I don't think Theo wants to really use that until there's a definite way that they can get into R&D, because we don't know what that ice is there.
I don't think disable is necessary here. I think because what Theo is very much taking a board state control stance at the minute, which is, I think, the correct line versus decks like this. You control the board state. You don't let them get their tempo assets. They don't let them get money. You just control their board state, and then once you've run them out of assets, because there's only a limited number of assets, even on asset-heavy decks, then you turn your attention to the centrals that are now depleted of anything that isn't agendas.
Yeah, and the score currently is just one point to runner, no points on the corpse side, and that point was snaffled up turn 1 off a sort of 3 card Monty, if you like.
Oh,
we do see the Marilyn behind the enigma. I think just Chris feeling necessary. He needs to stick some econ of some kind, and this feels like it's probably at least going to give him econ for 4 turns before he can then use that ice again.
So we see a Rashida, we see a crypto crash. There's a few things in hand that Chris really wants to get out there. So there's also an FTP, which is interesting. Money, what we presume is an Amani, is still hovering around, but without a threat to score, there's no threat of bouncing, and also they're still quite flush right now.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, you don't really want to bounce anything that Theo has in hand. These are 0 cost, 1 cost, or 2 costs, so they're not particularly big to reinstall. And bouncing the Utilite hand is genuinely a bad play, really.
It's more or less. Okay, we're doing double install and a new ice on 2 credits. This is bold.
So the only this has to be a Vladisburg City Grid, because that is the only upgrade which is in this deck. So we know that it's a Vladisburg. We don't know what is on top of a Vladisburg. And then Chris is posturing that this is a ping, I think.
Yes.
And we don't know if it is a ping or whether it's actually the F2P that we saw in hand that he can't afford to res.
I have a sneaky suspicion it's the F2P, but I don't think Theo can afford to take that risk.
No, I mean this is the thing I like and hate about R plus is that the scariest ice in R plus is the de-resed ice, the unresed ice. You don't know what it is, because you it just puts the fear of everything into you. You're like you can't afford to accidentally run into a ping at the wrong time, or run into a VSA that you can't deal with or something along those lines.
No, absolutely not, and not because it's tempo positive for the core because it costs them nothing if you take the tag, and then you have to go and deal with that. So you're losing tempo. They're either gaining or remaining at the same level of tempo, and it just feels bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if Theo's. No, I don't think he is considering this trick shot. Okay, we're going to DJ Steve.
Okay, I think this is
HQ is open.
This is the turning point, Westy. Edsel.
Okay. Now we're gaming. I mean, we've already had DJ Ketzel win one big tournament. This is Theo's way to get through a ping right now. So we might see this trick shot come down, and we do, because now we know that we can get through a ping. We know that we can get through an enigma.
We can get through one ping.
We can get through one ping.
This is the key. This is the key point. If both of these are pings, then Chris can res both.
We do still have one tag.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the risk, right?
This looks like no res here, so possibly enigma, possibly something bigger. That's an Amani Sanai, which is gonna stick around, and we see a Marilyn underneath that, I believe.
I'd almost be tempted to kill that Marilyn. Just further deny the court. There's the ping.
Was indeed a ping. So this is a really like heads up play from Theo, knowing that this is what Chris is showing to get in. Theo wants to control this board, and he's gonna get in here. He's gonna trash a Rashida and probably also the Flash Pacific Grid, using all of his trick shot money.
That is such a big step back for the court. Now, granted, Theo's on 2 tags right now. He needs to clear at least one of them, otherwise the corp is absolutely going to wreck.
Yeah, and I mean, I was going to say you probably have to clear both, but in all honesty, if Chris is paying, Chris doesn't have the money to pay to trash resources right now, so you could.
Oh, you're not going to trash the resource, and honestly, the Ketzel.
And we're getting rid of the Marilyn. I think we still have a click left, right?
I hope so. Otherwise, Theo's going to get crypto crashed pretty badly in a minute.
Yeah, so I think this overclock just is the perfect amount to break the enigma and clear the Marilyn, and then I assume we clear one tag.
Yeah, I mean, so Theo's money is actually starting to run out, and because they didn't go for DJ Fenris, for DJ
Steve, yeah,
they don't have infinite cash. They have got a timer on their cash. So this might not be the starting point. The question is whether Theo has trashed an adequate number of resources to keep Chris poor.
Yeah, because I mean, Chris has been poor this whole game. We are trashing that DJ Ketzel. Okay. So that was a pretty expensive one-turn break solution right there. And we've lost our potential for that turning into a different DJ target in there.
Absolutely. So I think this might be a Rashida in the row. Nothing else really making a huge sense to me. But
this is going to be really unfortunate for Theo if he's put so much work into keeping the court down there, controlling the board, and Chris gets to pop back with a Rashida.
But I mean, I don't know if it's too little, too late. Theo's trashed a lot of money assets and a lot of winning pieces. Like both the MCAs are gone.
True. We're just losing our second spin doctor here as well. Well, not losing, but it's being shuffled back, being popped.
So MCA coming back, absolutely great, and an unknown card. So whilst Theo, I think Theo's just day laundering archives. So whilst Theo is absolutely has trashed a lot of stuff, there is going to be some recursion, but it's nowhere near like Jackson Howard levels.
No.
So it might be that Theo's done so much damage to the court that the court is just not able to start mounting a proper threat.
Yeah, I mean this is really interesting. So Theo now needs to find a way of dealing with this single pick, which seems I don't
think that's a particularly tall order, and it's also I don't think it's a particularly high priority. Okay, interesting. Gets back to the corpse turn, and nothing gets rest.
Yeah. So
was this a bait?
I'm super unsure about what that card might be. It could be the Armani. We did see an
Yeah.
Armani. I don't think the Armani was trashed. So
No.
the Armani coming down. But again, Armani doesn't feel like a good card on this particular board state. And particularly in the fact that Chris isn't scoring any agendas anytime. So he doesn't really have control over when that Armani happens. Here we've got a sure gamble, so that's going to help the situation a lot. We have been floating this tag almost. It feels like we've been floating that tag all game at the moment.
Well, yeah. Well, so the only punishment the corp has is there's our propeller, which is the answer. The only single tag punishment the corp has is a B1001 and technically a Starlit Knight, but that's not active yet.
Yeah.
So floating one tag versus.
It was an Ares behind the ping, so I don't think Chris had enough money to score this last turn, because I think otherwise he just smashes it out straight away. But leaving it there for one turn, if Theo wasn't going to run it last turn, why would he run it this turn?
That's a bit of a desperation play from Chris, but it pays off. Now the question is that going to be enough to capitalize on it? Because now, yeah, sure, the corp is going to be getting money from the trashes, but I think that's a degree mill. That is a degree mill.
And you've got plenty of stuff here that you do not mind shuffling back. I think potentially the Copulation and the Stone Ship, yeah, that's what we're going for here. Because you can find them again. Like, Copulation's really, really good, but you don't need it right now. And Stone Ship was free to install, so
so it's really, really rough. And Theo now technically on game point. He finds another degree mill, and that's it. That's GG, and the journey ends. But we shall see.
It's also we've also Theo's got to a point where he's at 4 points, and that kind of makes Armani Sinai look a lot less scary, considering there's a lot less agendas to be stolen and scored.
Okay, so you're poking HQ. This might
see a Marilyn. Probably just stays there, I'd imagine.
Yeah. So I think we're now in kind of the stage two of the plan. So stage one.
I think we're deep diving. We're deep diving. That's an Ares straight off the top. I think we only have one click for this deep dive. We don't have a swift down. I don't see any other way that we're getting. But if there's a degree mill in this 8 cards, one more to go. Well, this is good. Puts Theo to 6 points. If he had the extra click there, he would have won the game.
He would be the UK National champion. Deep dive doesn't seal the deal, but it gets us right there. And Chris, I imagine feeling absolutely rocky.
Yeah.
Like it's going from 1 point to 6 points in a single turn. Huge turnarounds, huge plays.
And correct me if I'm mistaken, I believe Chris has 0 money right now.
Chris is just flat broke. So stall, take 2. Classic play, but the problem is it too little, too late. There's arrows is here that basically saying, yeah, you want to crash, you're gonna make money doing it.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if Dapperatchik has to trash anytime soon.
Okay, so we are trick shotting.
Yeah, we see no res. Possibly considering it.
Oh, not trashing. Not.
Yeah, I can't quite see what that is. I think that's a Marilyn, actually.
Yeah, it's Marilyn.
He's possibly considering that if he's going to go run different server and trash something anyway, then he might as well trash this with the money from trick shot.
Well, so I think what is happening is he's deep dived. Sorry, he's trick shot. He said trash, and then Chris said tag.
Right.
And he went, maybe I actually don't want to trash that, but because it's been kind of revealed as that change anything, I think that's what the judge call is at the minute. Okay, no, okay, it looks like we're letting this go.
We're checking. That is another Marilyn. These nannies are everywhere, it seems.
Do you want to trash? He's trashing it. Keeping on top of
No, not trashing.
I'm not trashing. And I think that's correct.
Are we running back HQ? Is this the second deep dive?
I think it might be, and I think
I haven't seen it in hand, but if this is
there it is.
There it is. Yeah, this is it. 2 deep dives in a time. There's almost no chance that there can't be one here.
4, 5, 6,
7.
It's a whiff.
It's a big whiff
Right at the end of that.
Okay, and now we know that's both the deep dives out. There is no recursion in this deck apart from the
Fenris.
potential for DJ Fenris.
But we
We know that DJ Fenris is gone.
Chris-
Now, Dapperatchik doesn't need a deep dive to win. Obviously, he just needs one more agenda. He needs to touch any agenda.
Yeah.
A trick shot might get him there. Just a cheeky single on HQ might get him there.
So the question is, is this the start of the turn? Can Chris claw it back from 6 points down? Maryland's coming out. Money's starting to tick in.
I mean, Chris Dyer has made his way up through the lower bracket. He's done it the hard way. It's now really the hard way. But if he pulls this through, it's going to be one hell of a redo.
And R&D must be looking pretty thin. And there is a question out. So I can see an agenda in it.
I can too.
But the question is, will Theo read, especially now that Chris has just iced it? Now it's the time to just hammer HQ because it's in there. The win's in there, and it's 1 in 5, 20% every turn, every time you touch it.
Yeah, possibly. I think now's the time that Theo would love to have his copulation back. This seems like a really good point to maybe give it a couple more turns, keep checking the board, and then just go for a copulation. Probably win. Like if there's 2 agendas in HQ, then you have got to be really unlucky to miss them all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is so Chris icing HQ, but the problem is Theo's quite broke at the minute, which is a thing.
Yeah.
Often
Bladderwort decks like being broke, but they like being broke when they have a Bladderwort up.
Yes.
And we have not managed to stick a Bladderwort to the board all game.
So Chris is broke, but Theo's broke as well, and that's actually pretty good for Chris because it means those tags you can't afford a hedge fund's worth of swing every time. So 4 out of 9 agendas are gone. This might be a turning point.
We've just drawn into the copilations, which is, in my opinion, like a card which is very much I think possibly one of the last. In fact, we have a copulation and a trick shot in hand. That's the last 2 pieces of multi-access that we have in the deck. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Dapperatchik wants to use them immediately while Chris is very poor and probably can't res too much of his size. You could even use them together, possibly seeing 2 off R&D, cupping one of them and then going HQ. Like that's a turn where you're seeing 5 cards potentially. Yeah,
this is okay. Theo playing very conservatively, getting money, ticking along. This is a good start, and Chris has a long way to go.
Absolutely.
So this is going to be a tough clawback if it's gonna happen. If anyone can do it, it's Chris.
Yeah, I mean this is absolutely a world champion for a reason, and someone who's gone almost undefeated, apart from by the person sitting opposite him right now all weekend.
The person sitting opposite him right now on 6 points.
I mean, someone earlier asked if Chris Dyer is sweating. I don't believe the man has sweat glands, but if he does, then he probably is sweating a little bit right now. We're seeing another server. We've seen it being iced. Chris still not showing much money, and maybe enough to res something like an F2P here, but that's not going to keep him out. Could it? What's the Starlit Knight do to the situation? Right
Starlit Knight does very little, aside from give to run a 2 tags, which is nice, but it doesn't stop them. So
actually, it does nothing. I've just remembered we've got a revolver. It's tucked away over here in the bottom corner, but Fiat has a way of breaking any piece of ice.
So I mean, there is a real risk that the runner could just plays control this whole time and effectively decks the corp out.
Absolutely. So Chris here, popping the 3rd and final Spin Doctor, getting back an MCA. I didn't see the second card. It might be second. It might be the other MCA. Knowing that basically that his only chance now is to force a win con. And potentially force Fiat. Like he needs absolute must trash cards now. Bladderwort won't do it for you. Yeah. He needs MCA, and he needs to be able to score off an MCA.
Yeah, this is brutal. Second Maryland coming in, even more money just ticking up. And Chris now finally having cash coming for the first time in this game.
Yeah, I mean this is the first time that if I was playing this, I would feel even remotely economically comfortable.
And Beyond 1001, as Mika says, is absolutely a way of exploiting the tags if those tags land. But the runner can just go and trash it. Like,
yeah, the B1001 really importantly does not defend itself.
If it did, it was so good.
So like you can use it once, but if the runner has enough money to then run the other server with the B1001, and you just go and trash the B1001, that is the B1001 gone.
Second ice
Okay.
coming down. And I believe all our recursion is gone. So
Yep.
whatever Chris has left in the deck, that's all the gas he's got. He's not getting any more.
Yeah, we don't know for sure. I don't know if there's still a Vladimir City Grid in deck or not. We've seen at least 2 get trashed. I don't know if any got shuffled back.
I don't know how Chris closes without that aside from MCA, but MCA is so slow.
But I think also I don't even know how he closes without. He needs to score at least 1 degree mill now.
Yeah, there's
there's very little option if he doesn't. Maybe he manages to sneak out a second Ares but I mean that doesn't get him too much closer to scoring. He's still going to have to get a degree mill and an artificial crypto crash after that.
Theo checking
see the bladder
what we've seen. Theo letting the bladder walk go.
I mean, Chris is currently at an amount of money where the bladder walk's not going to ping for
Yeah,
damage.
it's just a cheap pad campaign.
Cheap pad campaign, cheap to res, cheap to trash, even cheaper when it just takes out all of the good cards from your hand. But that's not going to happen right now.
No. This is so Chris is finally starting to stabilize with some money, but I do get the impression it's a little bit too little, too late, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Chris has ice and put a second ice on this remote, so there is a possibility that he's going to start mounting an attack here. Okay, Theo getting drawn, just kind of generally still playing on control.
Yeah, and Theo's still got simul chips to spare, so that could mean reusing this copulation if he wants to do that. That can mean getting back a fermenter if he just feels like he needs more money at some point, or maybe running a bunch of enigmas for 0 credits on a turn if that becomes a thing. But
so Chris's hand looking pretty flooded at the minute.
Yeah, kind of understandably.
And he needs to start pushing agendas, because the second this copulation lands at this point, then he's in a rough spot. Now he's just thrown down a he's thrown something in the remote.
The remote was a Rashida. We don't know. There's also a card which was installed naked, which is right up at the top of our screens. We don't know what that is.
Trick shot coming in.
Enigma. It's gonna cost 2.
It's not really a speed bump here. Seeing 2. This might be it. 1, 2.
Doesn't look like a steal, but we're checking
Challenging
this
the
remote.
remote.
It's just going to be a Rashid. Now the question is he trashing this? I think you are, even though you
can cups it.
You could cups it. That's actually here we have the Starlight.
So it's not Starlight Night. There is only one Starlight Night.
That's a Starlight.
No. So as in Starlight Night is not the HQ ice.
Oh right,
To answer
yes.
Messia's question.
Absolutely.
Because I don't.
Okay. Now this is really
2
interesting.
Starlight Nights.
Let's see what's happening. It is being cupped.
It's being cups.
Good.
Excellent. I think Theo is saying, "Yep, right, time to close."
Yeah. He's going to check this one first just to make sure that we don't have anything sneaking on our second bladder wall.
Another bladder wall.
Probably say we're going HQ.
We're going HQ, and I think this might be.
Feel like this is very possibly it. We've got a ping. That's attack.
Now, Chris could, if there's a B1000 hiding here, Chris could close this, but fortunately, I don't think I don't think that's going to really deter the runner at all.
No, I think that's even more. That's signaling incredibly hard to see whether there is something there.
5.
We've trashed the cups. We see that's one of the shipment
flags, and
that's the game, and that's it. And Theo is our UK Nats champion.
Oh, well played, both. Commiserations for Chris. That was well fought, really tough in position, but absolute resilient and excellent ball control by Theo.
Yeah, and I mean, Theo has been the absolute thorn in Chris' side all weekend long.
That's 3 for 3.
3 for 3, and I don't know if he's going to let him forget it anytime soon.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like we might get an interesting process podcast out of this. Possibly, it's time for our 6 monthly check-in with process podcasting.
Of course.
I would think. But that's been one hell of a tournament, and And Theo doing incredibly well. Like we said, I mean, he was riding high in second place all day yesterday. We were talking about Chris Dyer's unbeaten run, but Theo was only one loss behind him.
The omens were there all along because Chris Dyer having a perfect run in Swiss, and then along comes Theo. No,
Yeah,
Chris Dyer going along in the winners bracket. Along comes Theo. No, Chris Dyer coming up from the lower bracket, and along comes Theo.
absolutely. Now I know that we're going to get Theo in here for a winners interview shortly. Cobra is just going to escort them up to the stage to give them a great big round of applause. So stick around and hear from Theo. Maybe we can talk about some of the games that we've seen this weekend, because I mean we can go right back. I think even our first game of the Swiss, we had Rotage versus Rosie, I want to say.
Yes.
And that was that was a great game to kick us off.
It was PD versus
Akiko.
Akiko to kick us
A
off.
really, really swingy game, one which I remember pretty vividly, and I think is very worth if you're pick and mixing some of the things from day one to go and watch. That was an absolute blaster to start off with.
No. It's been a wonderful weekend. There have been so many wonderful games, so many wonderful players, and it has been well earned of the title of Worlds 2, which many people are saying.
Absolutely. I mean, it really was. It really was Worlds 2. I wanted to highlight. I can't just put it up on here, but that's fine. I wanted to highlight a couple more games from yesterday. In I believe it was round 9. We had an RH versus Restoring Humanity versus can't remember the runner for that one. But that was Hello's Restoring Humanity, which caught us all by surprise. Oh, that was versus Maeve.
That was Maeve. So that was Lat, I believe.
Yes, yeah, Maeve's on Lat.
With the double Yagi Yuda.
Let's not like ruin exactly what happened, but I think that people should go and watch that game because
banger of a game. Just when you think it's all over.
Oh yeah. No. That is a game which nearly broke my microphone, I think, at one point. We definitely peaked. And our last game of yesterday, actually, as well, we had a really fascinating game watching Asa go hard against a Hashiko deck. The only Hashiko deck we saw on stream all day.
Yeah, Hashiko couldn't move the Hashikos not 18 months ago, but now there's significantly fewer, and that game was a back and forth as well.
Yeah,
excellent.
I think it was around about round 5 or maybe 6 that we had the absolute pleasure of having Lifeline playing their Quetzal deck on stream, winning with the Quetzal deck.
I might have to get that list off.
Taking Quetzal all the way to the top cut of a tournament like this.
You didn't think you'd see it. You thought Quetzal was gone.
We saw Quetzal twice in the top cut today. Like
I think that's more times I've seen Quetzal in a single tournament than I ever seen her. Even when Quetzal's ordering chaos, I believe.
Yeah, Quetzal's like pretty old. She got reprinted in System Core update. So that's why we're still able to play with her. But like, such a fantastic idea, really, really kind of interesting, and unfortunately has sort of been on a few bad times, mainly because like single sub barriers sort of disappeared.
Yeah, and they had solutions, but absolutely in this tournament, Quetzal coming back and repping, and absolutely just doing great work
for sure. Also in the top cut today, we've seen Jonald come all the way into 3rd place playing Ob and Arasana. Like
yes, Gagarin never died. It just renamed itself to Ob.
Absolutely. I mean, like. Amazing play by everyone today. Really quite a fascinating top cut, really. We just for one criminal, but one criminal made it through. I think King Tournament ending up in 9th place from the thing there with a really interesting list. Like we saw Joyrides, we saw Manuels. There's Hot Pursuits in there. Like really kind of aggressive. I'm gonna float a tag or two. I don't really care because it's going to give me a ton of value. We saw Rtea. We didn't see it on stream,
unfortunately, but it was there. Nervous Nightjar, aka Oko, coming in, with an Ataya, with surveyors, if I
Yep.
remember correctly, massive surveyors.
Yeah, and finishing in sixth. So like Ataya making sixth, I think Ataya has definitely won a place in quite a few people's hearts. It's one of those ideas which there's definitely like some nonsense shenanigans you can do with it, and it's just finding the right bit of nonsense shenanigans. We saw, unsurprisingly, like a lot of green in the top places.
Last very representative, a full third of the field, I believe.
Absolutely, but plenty of Essers made it through, at least as far as the top cut. Nervous Nightjar, the highest placing Esser, alongside Veratea. But yeah, Esser seemed to be in a really good place against a lot of decks today, and we saw, I think, round 2 yesterday, and Esser kind of just, sometimes you just lose to Esser on archives.
It does just happen. If that slot machine comes up with skulls, then that's it. You
Absolutely.
Mill just the right number of agendas, and they check at just the right time, close out the game. It has been known to happen.
100%. I mean, I think we might well be being joined by our champion. So let's bring in the UK Nationals champion.
Hello, stream.
Fantastic, Theo. Can we call you Theo?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I can't pronounce your handle.
It's been an ongoing challenge. I think we just about managed to get in. Dapperatchik, right?
Yeah, so I've been trying to change all of my online handles just to my
Yeah,
name
we've noticed.
for years, and somehow managed to register this tournament under my Netrunner TV username. But Theo's fine. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic, because that is much easier for us to say how we look at that.
That's
UK National Champion 2024.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
It should feel pretty good. That was a hard fought and well earned victory.
Tell us about your day. Tell us why. I mean, I think maybe don't tell us why you picked that. I think that's somewhat of a. But as a group, I think a lot of the rest of the process, who I know you know, I don't know if you're full process or if you are full process. Okay. Everyone else was on R+. You chose to go down a different route.
There's about 10 of us staying together in a house in Bristol, and we spent quite a few hours on Friday night shouting at each other, building the R+. And I think it's a really solid deck. But shout out to Kikai, whose stats writing up said that Aza had a great win rate at Worlds, and that R+ was terrible. And based sort of purely on that, I decided to play the deck that had done really well at Worlds. With a couple of changes. I think the deck that I played was really good, and I got pretty lucky on some trick shot accesses and didn't bleed too many agendas.
I mean, talk to us. So this is based on the jukebox actor from World.
Yeah.
I think is
Do you know why it's called jukebox?
I have absolutely no idea. Does anyone? Why is it called jukebox?
We don't know either.
We've been asking, but no one knows.
We're waiting for Centraling to come back into chat so that we can ask them. But if not, I'll probably find out on Monday. But I think one of the change which I first noticed is a second pulse.
Yeah, I think so. The list from the World Cup, there were like 3 different lists, but they were all.
Yeah.
I think the only change from my favorite of those lists is the third ablative barrier over a Bran, because the deck can be quite poor.
Yeah.
And ablative is really good for there's all kinds of tricks that you can do with it. You can put on archives against Esser, throw your agendas in there, and then when they run it, you get a spin doctor.
Yeah.
You can sort of Rashida for click. The Lat deck is really strong. It has so much flexibility about what it does with its money, what it does with its clicks, but and the threat that they have is that they can deep dive you, and so if they get some early steals, then they can spend the rest of the game setting up for a deep dive, and they know that they're going to steal 1 or 2 agendas.
Absolutely.
Especially with that Swift.
especially with the Swift. That
Which is
I was
correct.
playing,
I
which is the
agree
absolute
with
correct.
this choice that Swift is better than
Well, we've
Anakin.
now proven it's
Canonically
the correct
been
choice.
comprehensively refuted Anakin. The Anakin deck is better in a lot of matchups, but it is worse against the R+. But I didn't draw it in the final anyway. So,
And then talk to me about one card, because there's one card in this deck which you didn't put in. It was in the original Jukebox deck, but it's a card which I've had on my list as being like, this is a card which is definitely has potential to be pretty busted. It's pretty strong. Did you use, and how many times did you use the active policing throughout the weekend?
I used the active policing a bunch of times.
Yeah.
It's really good. The dream scenario that you imagine where you do something like you click an MCA and score a Vitruvius, and then you have like 1 or 2 clicks left, and you active policing the Ikawa, and they have 1 click.
Yeah.
And you can even so that or you can put it behind a pulse.
Mhm.
We did that, and it
And you can even install that pulse with the ASA
exactly,
trigger, so it's very efficient.
It gives you just a lot of shenanigans where you can score from 1 credit with Seamless Audacity.
I mean, I think we saw you score from 0 maybe to that. No, you had a Nico ticking over.
In that game, I was almost going to score from 1 credit, but in the end, it wasn't that close. But because I had on Rashida.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Always have a backup plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the runner always has to fear for the next 10 turns of the game that at any moment you could just jam the active policing, and especially if there's an MCA ticking that they then have to trash.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they trash it, you jam the Ikawa, and so this deck is really good at closing games.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a little bit inconsistent, but if you just draw the nuts every game like I did,
so we'll write that down as our learning experience here. Is draw the nuts. Like, I think
Drawing good cards is good.
Yeah. As long as you draw at least 1 fully op within the first couple of turns,
it turns
then
out fully
you
op
feel okay.
Still somewhat somewhat busted. We have an answer as to why it's called Jukebox. So apparently there was a name that you have the tools to constantly juke out the runner, and by putting out a number of distracting interactors like NCA or Cohort.
Oh,
which is why it's called.
There we go. And the deck obviously brought to us by the team now known as Logic Bomb. Theo, do you have any shout outs which you want to anyone which you want to particularly, do you want to publicly shame Chris Dye for losing, or anything that you want to do? This is WooTube, so you can pretty much do anything.
Shout out to Chris.
Yeah.
We played 3 great games through the course of the weekend. I won all of them.
Yeah. If you didn't already
This
know.
is just facts.
And everyone for the process. Shout out to Team Logic Bomb, who built this amazing deck. I had no idea who you were. Shout out to everyone who put this tournament on. It's been an amazing weekend. I've had a fantastic time. To everyone who played with in London, especially Dan, who came up here today to support, even though he wasn't playing.
Real dedication.
From Gilhard, and for beating me constantly at Tuesday night meetups and making me think I'm bad. Just to everyone who I played great Netrunner games with. It was so amazing to come and play this game and meet everyone, and it's I'm just really glad that everyone else here this weekend was even worse than I was.
Excellent.
I think you did pretty well.
You did very well.
So, one last question: are we going to get a process episode about this? When was the last process podcast? Come on,
It was a little while ago.
We're all desperate for one.
That will be a process episode.
Excellent.
And
You're gonna have to fix your internet.
we might just we're going to rehash all of the arguments about the R+.
I think that's good. Well, Theo, I want to say congratulations again, UK champion 2024, and a big one as well, because we're seeing a lot of cards going for the next sort of big round of champions. So a lot of the cards from these decks you won't be able to play in
MCA critically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, MCA, which is ever present throughout the top 16, just going next year, which is going to be a whole thing. But I'm sure the process will come up with a suitably broken deck to replace it.
Trust the process.
Trust the process.
And with that, I think we're going to sign off. I've been Baran Wu. This has been Extract. This is our UK champion, Theo. And with that, I think we're going to say ciao for now. Thanks for watching. And join me on Monday. I think I've got Brandon on live. That'll be fun. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye.